ready for the flow. Get ready for the coach. Brickey Sports Show. And get ready for the flow. And get ready for the flow. And get ready for the flow. Brickey Sports Show. Wake up, it's the Coach Brickey Sports Show with the team that can give you what you know, what you need and what you want on the court for football, the basketball, and every other sport. With Troy and DL and Dr. Carl Brinkley and Paul and the Coach Robert Brickey. It's time, get your coffee and get ready for the flow. Get ready for the Coach Brickey Sports Show.
And we're back on this Monday morning. Thank you guys for tuning in. 74 degrees. We're here at the flagship station at the Widu Radio Network, 2520 Murchison Road, WIDU 1600 AM, 99.7. Also, you can join us on Facebook. Back for the Coach Brickey Sports Show. Anchoring here, I'm Troy, and we have Reverend Carl Brown. Carlton Brown, he's across in front of me here at the flagship station. We have producing this morning. We have Reverend Carl Brinkley. He's back in the saddle, coming in with his Dallas Cowboys shirt that I believe it was signed by Tom Landry. But anyway,
yeah, we worked something, right?
But we have online that we have DL and also the king of dunk, ACC. And that is none other than Coach Brickey. Good morning, Coach Brickey. It is 37 days until the NFL regular season begins.
Grand rising to everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. It was, as I was thinking about the show this morning, I looked at all the stories from between last Monday and today. It's not a great sports week. So I figured we talk about some of the issues that we always allude to around some of our conversations that affect sports. So this is a great week in preparation for NFL. The Panthers kick off Thursday night in the Hall of Fame game with the Cardinals. And then come next week, we'll have a full slate of NFL preseason games starting on Thursday. I think they run through Saturday. So we'll have football action beginning this week. But I wanted to start out, get your opinions on some of the things that, around sports, starting with, should college athletes now be considered professional athletes? Because you look at some of the money these young folks are making. This is on par with professional level money. I'm over there. I'm going to get DL to pick you first. DL, what do you think? Should they be considered professional?
Yeah, because the UNC player, Henry Vesser, the one that messed up the draft that should have stayed at Carolina, he would have got probably $4 to $5 million. Now he's going to be bumping back and forth from the G League. So he calculated wrong. But as far as other athletes, I think they have to, because number one, they're trying to limit on how many years you can stay at the collegiate level, because the young man that went from Georgia to Miami, Carlson Beck, he was 26 playing in the championship game last year, and that's college sports wasn't designed for the older folks in the 20s. But I think they do have to get a hold on it, and if they are signing contracts, well, I don't think it's the athlete that put out that your scholarship is only 1 year. I think it's the university. Now, you have the SEC threatening in the Big Ten, who those two leagues hold all the cards. and thinking about just leaving the NCAA, which will be bad for the rest of the colleges, because the TV revenue those two leagues bring. But getting back to athletes, I'm asking the university and the big money donors, why are you holding them to 1 year? You know, I guess because in basketball, the case is, I get it in basketball because you can go pro after 1 year. In football, you have to have 3 years pass. So they need to come to some type of agreement, because some students are going to stay in college because they know the chances of making pro are not that great, especially when it comes to the basketball and football players.
Like, Brian, what do you say? You think given the amount of money they're making now, if this was you know, extra food money or some money to hang out on the weekends, that'd be one thing. But they're signing multiple $1 million deals. Should they be considered professional athletes at this point? And they have. We'll get to this in the next segment, but they could also have the ability to change schools. So, what say you, Dr. Brown?
I think it's a mixed bag, because I think sometimes we get the idea that everybody is making the big money, but I think the more elite athletes will be making a lot of money. But I looked at some things this morning, and they say every athlete gets at least $1,500 from EA Sports if they're on the video. But I think you know, for those who are making a significant amount of money, certainly they are professional athletes, right? Which means then there needs to be definite contracts that are designed for these again, they're students, but they're professional. There need to be specific contracts with specific timetables, and just like in the pros, there ought to be a buyout clause. If they're not performing, then we can buy out the contract back. So as Dio said, there's a lot of things need to be navigated with NIL, and they just need to clean it up. I mean, I'm happy that students were being exploited before. Now they are able to make some money, but they can still be exploited if they don't have people who are wise around them that can make sure that they have good deals and that they are able to use the money wisely after they get it, because, you know, 90% of them won't go pro. And so if they get an opportunity to make some money while they're in school, hopefully they can use it wisely. So I think for those who are on the top end, they are professionals. But I think for the regular athletes who just are in school playing sports for the love of it, I think they could still be called student athletes.
Well, Troy, I want to get your opinion on this. So,
I believe that.
I'm thinking about this. Wait, but hold on. Let me ask you this, Troy. So, if Dr. Brown ended with this, he said, should they be considered student athletes? Because here's why I ask you this. I used to hear about people transferring all the time. And when you transfer schools, all credits don't transfer.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you maintain, and the NCAA's rules used to be, and I need to look this up, they used to be you have to maintain progress towards graduation, not the 25% a year.
Right.
You know, you have to have 25% of your courses in your first year, and so on. So how do you, if you change school 3 or 4 times, how can you possibly stay on track to graduate? And should they be considered student athletes? Sure.
I believe they are student athletes simply by the fact that they are either in private institutions or state-supported institutions that are education institutions, you know, and they interact with students every day. No matter how much money they're making, still at the end of the day, they operate within a system that is designed for students. And that's what I believe is the issue there. But I agree with you with the transferring, but that's just not with student. You could just be a person transferring from one university to another or college and lose credits and stuff like that. But I got what you're saying. You're talking about the money that's involved, yes, and they do deserve to get paid. However, I believe until they're not being recruited by a school and they're not playing under the banner of a school name, that they should be still considered student athletes.
All right, so and I'll put this one out to the field. Anybody want to answer this one? Can students pay athletes without treating them as employees? I mean, you know, if you pay a kid, even if it's $100,000, that's more than most employees are making at that university.
Correct.
So how can you not treat them as an employee?
Well, they could be independent contractors.
Correct, and I think that's how they are built. So I had an opportunity to speak to North Carolina A&T men's basketball team, and they hadn't gotten their NIL checks yet. So this was the perfect time. And so they looked at me like I was insane when I said, when you get your check, take 30% and put it away or go ahead and prepay taxes. And they looked at me like I was insane because nobody had ever talked to them about taxes.
Right.
And that when I said 30%, they were like, why? I was like, listen, because you are an taxable, you're right now a business. You as an individual are a business because you're making revenue. Somebody's writing a check, and they're writing this off on their taxes. So on one end, somebody's writing a check. If you don't file and pay taxes on the other end, you won't get called for the IRS. You don't want that call. So, you know, and I think education is a big part of this, but so how can they not be employees? I mean, there was a kid at Duke of all places. The quarterback signed a 2-year, I think he said it was a $4 or $5 million deal. And you know, you think all of a sudden you're in the top 10 paid employees at that university as a 19, 20-year-old. I just think there's got to be some more structure to it, and I think treating them as employees would be beneficial. Anybody got a rebuttal or a different opinion?
Well, I think one thing you'd have to consider too is where would you like to play? I mean, you know, Florida is a tax-friendly place. Texas can be a little more tax-friendly, but playing in California or New York may not be the place that you want to play if you are trying to avoid excessive taxes.
Mm-hmm. But you know, okay, that brings up a good point, Short. What high school kid is thinking about taxes? And this is where you need education and guidance because, you know, Texas and Florida or maybe Wyoming are tax-free states. State, they don't have state income tax.
Right.
So you would save a ton of money by playing in one of those states. But how would they know?
So how would they know?
Yeah.
I believe they would find out, man. I mean, well, I think those states would probably start advertising themselves.
Right.
I mean, and saying, hey, look, this ought to be an incentive for you to go to Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Or Florida State.
Yeah, they use that as a recruiting tool to say, hey, if you come here and you get your NIL, you know, less money got to be given to the government and you can keep more. So I guess just like in a recruiting package, that would be a part of the recruiting package that would try and draw students to those states because of what they could save rather than what they'd have to pay out in taxes.
Well, that makes sense. I want to move to the transfer portal before we get to the break. And we allude to this all the time, so I'm going to explain it just briefly. So for those that don't know, in college athletics now, they have a thing called a transfer portal. You can enter your name into the transfer portal and transfer from the university to wherever you want to go if you can find an opportunity. The old rule used to be you could transfer, but you had to sit out 1 year.
Right.
And a lot of times you couldn't transfer in conference. And if you transfer in conference, you had to sit out 2 years, which means if I'm a coach, I got to pay for you for 2 years before you even go see the floor. So the transfer portal gives them immediate opportunity to transfer and play right away. So has this created freedom or chaos?
I think it's both, Coach. I mean, freedom without restraints or freedom without guidance bring chaos. I think
Right.
I think the ability to transfer is good. And again, I'm like you. I can't see us transferring 4 times in your career because you have to lose credits. And so, I think the ability to transfer again has some value, but again, unless it's really structured well, to not just benefit the university but benefit the students, because at the end of the day, hopefully these young men and women will leave with a degree. And so I think the transfer portal, like you said, because the portal now has the students can play right away, it has helped the student. But if you do it too frequently, I can't see how that would ultimately help the student get a degree. But maybe the degree is not what they're after, but they're after money. So I don't know.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
Well, some people say, well, coaches get to leave. Well, show me a coach that leaves, transfer at 3 different schools in 3 years, then we'll talk about it. Now, the cat that left state after 1 year to go back to his dream job, his home state, that's an exception and not the norm.
Right.
So I look at it like this. You get one transfer, no questions asked, you don't have to sit out. Or the school that you played for the 1 year says, we're not bringing you back, we're going to put your money dedicated to you to somebody else. Then they released you. So that's another transfer. Or if the coach resigns or takes another job, that's another reason. So some student athlete may get one, some student athlete may get 2 transfers. It just depends on where you're at. But this just transferring every year, they need to stop this. They're getting compensated. Troy, you always said the pendulum swung too far to the left, and in this situation, it definitely did.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Here's some of the rules on the this is what the just some proposals up to kind of tighten this up. You just mentioned one. Athletes would be restricted to 1 penalty-free transfer during their college career. And then they would be required to sit out a year for subsequent moves. So that's going to eliminate a lot of that jumping around if they get this passed. And then also it would introduce stricter enforcement and presumptive actions against schools suspected of illegal contact. So what's happening is they contact the kids all the time. You're playing at school A, school B is calling you, or having somebody reach out to you. So they want to tighten that up. And then penalties will be heavily emphasized for any movement or recruitment that bypasses official designated calendar windows. So you have a calendar of time you can do all these things. And so they're going to make sure they start operating in those. But there's some other things on NIL as well. But do you think these rules are going to help? Because right now I feel like this is the Wild West. And there's just no rules. So I think there needs to be some structure, but will they put in too much structure? Does anybody have an opinion on that?
Well, the music has started on us, and so we need to go to a break, but we'll be right back. Hold on to that question, Coach, and let's revisit that on the other side of the break. Inside of the Coach Brickey Sports Show. We'll be back.
Key senators have unveiled a short-term spending bill to avoid a government shutdown during the middle of the upcoming campaign season. The bill unveiled yesterday would keep federal agencies funded past the midterm elections through December 11th. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche has issued a formal order terminating President Trump's $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund to compensate his political allies. Hundreds of people were in the dark on Sunday night after storms knocked out utility lines in many parts of the state, particularly in Wake County, where more than 1,200 customers lost power due to that incident. Raleigh police investigating after firefighters found a body in a pond late Saturday afternoon. It happened on Millbrook Road. Two-time Cy Young Award winner Tarek Skubal on the move to the Los Angeles Dodgers, and right-hander Freddie Peralta moves on to the Tampa Bay Rays. Major League Baseball's trade deadline is tonight at 6 o'clock. Tony Rixby, NC.
I'm Jamie Monticelli, WIDU Radio News. Your voice matters, and your Board of County Commissioners is listening. Join us for one of 2 upcoming community input sessions to share your thoughts on the county's proposed data center ordinance. Thursday, August 6th, 6 until 7:30 p.m. at Stedman Baptist Church, that's in Stedman, or Tuesday, August 11th, 6 until 7:30 p.m. at J.D. Pone Recreation Center in Hope Mills. If you can't join in person, go to cumberlandcountync.gov/data center to learn more and share your feedback online. The Fayetteville Fire Department says as temperatures rise and outdoor activities heat up, so does the risk of fire. Whether you're grilling in the backyard, enjoying a campfire, it's important to be mindful of fire dangers, especially during hot, dry conditions. A few summer safety reminders: never leave your grill unattended, dispose of smoking materials safely, make sure your fire alarms are working. From WIDU Radio, I'm Jamie Monticelli.
Your forecast for this Monday, looking at temperatures starting out in the 70s this morning. It is warm, it is humid. Shower and thunderstorm chances look to be pretty hit and miss today, as we see high temperatures making it into the mid to upper 80s. Then overnight, we see a chance for a few stray showers. Most of those will be to the east, temperatures low to mid 70s. We're only in the low to mid 80s Tuesday. An area of low pressure near the coast is going to bring a higher chance of showers and storms. I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels in the NCN West.
Angelic Florist Creations, 442 Hillsborough Street, Fayetteville, is family-owned and operated, proudly serving the Fayetteville area. Whatever the occasion, Angelic Florist Creations can create a floral arrangement or gift for any occasion or holiday. Angelic Florist Creations has prompt, friendly, and caring service. If you want to say you care, you can always say it with flowers from Angelic Florist Creations, 442 Hillsborough Street, Fayetteville. Call 910-485-2205.
If you can no longer work because of illness or injury, you should be collecting Social Security disability insurance benefits. Call Brent Adams now for a free consultation. Don't give up just because you've been turned down. Brent Adams has helped thousands collect full disability benefits even after they've been turned down. Call now, 910-888-8888. Don't hesitate. Call 8. At Brent Adams & Associates, we make things right.
You ever notice how most helpful information always seems to show up just a little too late? Like, oh, the deadline was yesterday. Or,
you know, you could have saved money if you'd done that earlier.
Timing matters. With smart timing, you can lower your energy costs by running appliances like washers, dryers, and dishwashers outside of peak hours. And by adjusting your thermostat just a few degrees higher between 3 and 6 in the afternoon, you can save even more. It's a simple shift that helps reduce strain on the energy grid, supports a more sustainable future, and keeps power reliable for everyone in our community. Because at Fayetteville PWC, we're committed to being environmentally responsible, dependable, and deeply invested in the place we all call home. Timing matters, and smart timing means savings. Learn more at startsaving@faypwc.com.
For the Coach Brickey Sports Show. Coach, back with you. Your question before the break, if you would restate that.
We were talking about has the transfer portal created freedom of chaos? Did we do that one already? Are we on number 3? We were talking about transfer portal, and I want to get people's opinion on that. So Should players have the ability to move around freely? Should they have multiple year contracts? Is loyalty a fair expectation when coaches can leave freely? Anybody got any thoughts on those questions?
I would agree with DL.
Well,
I won't restate what DL said, but I can't agree with his position on that. I just, look, it can't be a situation where you just playing checkers, man. You moving one spot to the next. It has to be some rhyme to the reason.
Right.
Yeah, I think it has to be limited. Again, I think the way it is now, where you get one free move, and then extenuating circumstances might allow you with a second one. But beyond that, I think there has to be limits. Again, freedom without limits is chaos. And so you need to have some kind of guidelines that can rein it in. And again, but I think it still needs to be structured in a way that benefits the students, because again, history has been that the students have been, this might be a volatile word, but exploited for their talents over the years. Now, they're being able to pay it a little bit. So I think there needs to be some guidelines with respect to transfer.
Some of these subjects overlap. So we want to move. I want to move into gambling, because we've all known gambling has always been big around, especially around athletics. But now, networks, ESPN, and all the major sports networks have partnered with gambling entities. There's shows on these networks now that talk specifically about gambling. So is this a threat to sports? It's too easy. You do it on your phone now. It's just too easy to gamble. And then there was a case, in a college basketball case in 2026 that involved a scheme that involved 39 players across more than 17 Division I programs dealing with gambling. So is it causing problems? And then two, can you monitor it? Anybody got thoughts on that?
Well, some of the companies, the BetMGM, and they do notify the various leagues if their players, I guess, gamble, which I don't agree with. They shouldn't be notifying. If I want to use BetMGM, you shouldn't be notifying anybody, athlete or not. But I guess they look at it from like this. Even if it's not on their team, they don't want them betting on other games because of relationship with players. And then, the state of North Carolina, they made a deal with FanDuel. I remember when that bill came through, and they want to use the money to help pay for our education system. I just don't believe in gamble. My reason is because the poor people try to gamble. But as far as athletes, look at Malik Beasley. Look at Terry Rozier, who used to play for the Hornets. Now he's down with Miami, throwing their lives away over gambling. Allegations, they hadn't went to court yet. And then Chauncey Billups is, I don't know, Portland's moved on from him, but he still got a cloud of suspicion under him. I just don't like the gambling by these athletes, and they've changed. I don't think the NBA goes to that if David Stern is still the commissioner.
Man, listen,
Dr. Brown, do you think?
Yes, I think gambling is the biggest threat to sports, whether professional or college sports. It is the biggest threat. There's no way you can endorse where these leagues endorse gambling and it not creep in because people, your athletes or those people who are associated with them are going to be tempted and drawn into it. So I think it's the biggest threat. And with these prop bets, and I don't understand gambling, so all these numbers, I don't understand all of that. But But when you can bet on how many points a person is going to score, how many yards he's going to run in the first quarter, or there's too many of those things going on that would induce and draw people into betting, and so they're making it so enticing that you almost can't resist it. And so I think it's the biggest threat to sports at this point, my opinion.
Hey, Coach.
What's
Now
that, Troy?
look, this stuff been around already. Baseball. Right. What team was that? Way back when. I mean,
Pete Rose?
No, I'm talking about way back from Pete Rose. When there was all white guys. You know what I'm talking about. It goes back.
It was a big scandal.
Yeah. I'm saying so because the whole team was.
Maybe the White Sox.
Yeah, right.
Sox, Chicago.
Yeah. It was the White Sox. So it was the whole team was down with it. I believe this. Right. Number one, you're not going to eliminate gambling. You may eliminate legalized gambling, but people going to gamble either way.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that by being in the open and you're trying to put some controls on it, yes, I got that piece. However, to eliminate it, no. I mean, that's a joke. I mean, ain't nobody trying to get around that. I mean, no. That's some professions that have been around since the beginning of time, and gambling is one of those. It ain't going nowhere.
You know what? If you know a gambler, if you really know a gambler in your life, they're gonna gamble.
That's what I'm saying. Cause I know a couple.
Like, yeah, I know. I got a friend here in town, man. We'll be watching a game. He'll be on his phone the entire time, placing bets on either the game we're watching or other games. I was like, man, he spends an unbelievable amount of time and money gambling. But I don't know. My dad, I bet my dad a quarter. And this is a true story. In 1974.
Right.
And I lost. And he took my quarter. I didn't think he was going to take it. And I haven't gambled since then. That was a hard lesson.
Same thing with me, man.
Right.
Look, I was in the military, and I was playing a sergeant, and I didn't know that much about cars. It's a card game called Tunk. I don't know if you're familiar with that game. But he beat me out of $5, and I'm still mad about that. And I have never, I've never been to a casino in my life. Doesn't make me more moral. It's just that I'm more frugal with my money, okay? And the first time I saw a slot machine, I was coming through the airport at Vegas, not Vegas the town. There was a stopover, and I walked off the plane and saw all those slot machines. That blew my mind that they were at the airport. You know what I mean? But I have never been to a casino, been stationed around them when I was in the military and everything else. But look, I might lose some money, but it won't be over there.
Right. I'm gonna give you this. I won't mention the name. I'm coaching at a school. We are playing at Nevada Reno. In Nevada Reno, we stayed in a casino.
Right.
So my road roommate at the time, I go out to dinner with one of the coaches. We come back. It's 10 o'clock. We about to shut it down. My road roommate is going downstairs. I'm gonna go down and gamble for a little while. All right, cool. I go to bed. I wake up. I notice he's not there. About 7 in the morning, he comes back in the room. I said, have you been down there all night? He said, yep. So we had a game that day. So we had a game. After the game, by the time we played, we had coaches meetings, team meetings. It's midnight. And we probably fly out at 5 in the morning. After the meeting, he went back downstairs and gambled until we had to get on the bus and go to the airport. And I was like, boy, you got... And then when we got to the airport, they had machines in the airport. He gambled in the airport.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I was amazed. I didn't know they could do that. I thought that those airports were kind of federally controlled or something. I mean, gee whiz. I got them, I saw all these slot machines at every place you could get off a plane, that's the first thing you run into is a slot machine. I was like, what in the world?
Hey, man, look, when I looked at the odds, I said, the houses go always win. So I'd rather just keep my little money in my pocket.
That's me. I'm sorry. The Bible said, fool in his money.
Yeah, quickly. Especially, so I remember my first time going in a casino. I just walked around for about an hour just to look to see what was going on.
Right.
And I saw people at slot machines. All they seemed like they were just doing was pulling the handle. This is how long ago this was. They just had a push button was there. You had to pull the handle. And they looked like zombies. And I was like, oh my God. They had some card that was stuck in the machine on a keychain. And all they did was pull it. I was like, these people are zombied out. All they're doing, they sat there for hours. I said, man, you know, this is beyond what I can do. So, gambling is not my thing. But let's move on before we get close to the end of the show, because I want to talk about not just gambling, but athlete health and television revenue, especially in the NBA, because you know they always talk about load management. So how do you think can leagues enforce teams to play players? Because, you know, if I spend a bunch of money to take my kid to see LeBron and he decides to take the night off, then, you know, tickets aren't cheap anymore. So, I had to take my whole family out. That might be $400 or $500.
That's true.
So can leagues enforce these kinds of rules?
Well, you know, I watched that Netflix thing on Jerry Jones. I give him credit for making the NFL change its rules with regard to the franchises making money, you know, because they control everything. They can tell you what kind of soft drinks they have, right. And I mean, it was just ridiculous. And he took them to court, and in federal court, and he won. And I think that case probably is going to set a precedence for a lot of stuff, when I think that now you deserve to be able to spend your money and make money. It's capitalism, you know, so why wouldn't they be able to do that, you know? I don't think it should be like that, because it's ridiculous. I mean, you got to pay $100 to park, and I mean, it's crazy, man, you know. And then now to watch it on TV, everything is streaming. It just
right.
Everything is streaming. So you can't watch a game unless it's streaming.
Unless you got
Yeah, what do you think about that?
Well, the NFL and baseball usually don't have this problem. It's more so the NBA, and you would hope players would be like the players of the 80s and 90s, like the Jordans and the John Stocktons and Karl Malone, where they wanted to suit it up every night. But unfortunately, that has changed. So this is more so an NBA problem. And if you go on the team's websites, when the Lakers come to town, our boss and a team with a superstar, the tickets cost more versus when a team like Sacramento, who doesn't usually win every season, comes to town. So there lies the problem. They got to get with these superstars and say, listen, if a week out, you know, that's why the injury report is so important with the NBA. But as a family person who's going to take their kids out, if LeBron's on the team, there's going to be other superstars. So you're paying for, you want to see LeBron, but you're also paying for the product, the buzz, the atmosphere that's coming in that arena. So, you know, that's only, you know, if you're in the Eastern Conference, LeBron back in the Eastern Conference, you got more opportunities to see him. You might have to drive to Atlanta if you don't catch him in Charlotte, which is a 2-hour drive. So I get it. I just don't think the NFL front office is going to be able to tell LeBron that he can't set out at 42. It's different now. LeBron is different compared to LeBron at 34, 35. Man, soon to be, he was born in 84. He's 42. I'll give him a little grace this year. But I still tell everybody, this is not LeBron last year, because he wants his farewell tour. I think next year will be it. He's hanging it up.
You know, the other brings up a good point. So I got to thinking about Philly and LeBron going to Philly. how's that going to affect ticket prices? So the average ticket price has moved from $68 to $82.
Wow.
In the preseason, the cheapest get-in price for the first 2026 preseason home game against the Boston Celtics surged to $283 a ticket.
Wow.
Wow.
So imagine if you're just trying to take a date or your wife. That's a $600 night. Or maybe if you go to dinner and have to buy paper parking, that's an $800 night.
Wow.
Well, so LeBron is not playing no preseason game, so they might well you don't waste your money going there. It's highly unlikely that he's going to play. Now, I wouldn't. Now, I can give you that scoop because generally they don't play preseason. He may get in there through a couple. He may play 2 or 3 games of preseason, but get ready for the regular season. I think it's going to be interesting because listen, we don't know the health of Joel Embiid. And it's going to be interesting, will they top Philly football? Because football is always going to be king over these sports. So Philly, man, they just paid their Jaylen Brown, not Jaylen Brown, but the kid from Georgia, forgot Jalen's, the football player. They just made him the highest paid defensive player. So it's going to be an interesting time in Philly, especially when they let their top wide receiver go. So Philly's going to be the talk of the town football-wise and basketball starting in October through January.
Okay, so to stay on Philly, what would a successful season look like for Philly? I mean, how far do they have to go? Do they have to go to the finals?
Even without Joel Embiid, they got to go to the finals. You got LeBron James, you got Jaylen Brown, and you got other Maxey. No, you have to make it to the finals.
I tell you what. Brown, LeBron, Maxey, and what's the kid from Baylor?
Edgecombe.
Listen, that's a formidable 4 right there. That's a really good 4 right there. If they can find any kind of post play, they got to have a couple of rim protectors. They don't even really need offense. And I would you play Embiid early? Seriously, I figure out a way to hold him out. Just keep him in shape because I need him in the playoffs. I don't need him in the regular season. I know they can't get away with that, but what are your thoughts on Embiid's chances of playing the entire season? First of all, have you ever played the entire season? I don't think so, but what do you think he will do this year?
I think they should put him on a minute restriction. I think in order to get him to the playoffs, that's where they'll need him most. I think they have enough shooting. They have enough. The team is strong enough that they could play Embiid, tell him, listen, we're going to have you play whether it's a 20-minute, 30-minute restriction, and so that you can stay healthy or get healthy and, let him model, LeBron's preparation and training and staying in shape. But I would put him on a limited restriction because, again, he is the key to that whole puzzle, right? If he stays healthy, there's no reason why they shouldn't win the whole thing.
Coach, I have a question for you. Yeah. So we didn't discuss this on last week because we didn't know, but that LeBron wanted to go to the Knicks, and he said, no, we don't want you.
I think we kind of alluded to that on a couple of shows before about LeBron comes with a lot of
but now it's confirmed
expectation, and he's got a lot of juice, and he's not afraid to throw his weight around, and so do you want to deal with that? I mean, the Knicks already won the title, so they're in a position where they have the leverage. We don't need you,
right? Right.
We can get it done in other ways without having to deal with the LeBron show. That doesn't surprise me. Like, I'm sure he might have been interested in a couple other teams, but I don't know. That's a lot to have to deal with, on top of dealing with a regular NBA season, which is a lot to deal with. So you want to eliminate as many distractions as possible.
Yeah, the team had a good synergy already. So bringing him in the mix now would just because people would start deferring to him because of who he is. So I think they made the right decision and say, stay somewhere, go somewhere else. We got this covered. And even if they never win another one in the next 10 years, they still happy that, they got a core group of people that they think, if they play together, they will be competitive and be knocking at the door for the next few years.
Yeah, listen, I think one of the things in this whole race is just understanding you can win it. So I know winning back-to-back, winning at one time is hard. Winning back-to-back is very, very difficult. But in the Knicks' mind, they feel like they know how to win now. So I think that gives them an advantage over a lot of teams because they feel like we got our whole squad back. I don't know what teams moves they made in the offseason, but, we can run this back. We stay healthy. We got an opportunity to run it back. Of course, Philly will be our competition, and maybe Boston if Tatum gets healthy. And maybe even, what do you think about the Wizards? Now, they have quietly built a respectable roster if they can stay healthy. So.
Hey, Coach, if the Knicks run it back, if the Knicks ain't running back, Knicks not even going to make the Eastern Conference Final. If they do, y'all can choose a 5-star. Choose a 5-star restaurant, because I don't bet money. Choose a 5-star restaurant. You can take out you and your significant other. It's the tabs on me.
I'm with you, DL. I mean, they caught lightning in a bottle last year. That's what they did, and they're not going back. I'm with you. They're not going back.
Well, I'm not betting, but somebody owes me a fish sandwich already. Who is that? What was that? I remember that. You remember that? Somebody already owes me a fish sandwich. Who is that? That may have been you.
Okay. I'm excited for the Knicks. They got lightning in the bottle, like Pastor Brown said, and everything fell in place. And just like Tampa Bay with Brady, the last time they won Super Bowl, things fell in place. You got to contend with Miami. Pat Riley is not standing pat, no pun intended. He's going to get somebody to jump on that train with the Greek Freak. And, but I just see. I
think I thought about that too, Dale, because I was like, they don't have enough of a depth, in my opinion, to make a run right now. But so you either have to make some trades, because right now, who you gonna sign? I think they drafted a kid that's got a chance to play, but you can't count on a rookie. So. Who can they add at this stage?
Yeah, you're right. And, Coach, next week, hopefully, we get ready to get in the football season. But, the NBA has finalized their 2 expansion teams. It's going to be Vegas and the Supersonics. And I remember as a child, when I first started watching the NBA, when I used to be on tape delay, I remember watching Gus Johnson and Dennis Johnson and downtown Freddie Brown when Lenny Wilkins was coaching. So I'm just happy they're going to get back their records. They're going to take the records from OKC and they're going to give them back to the Seattle Supersonics. And I'm so happy. They should have never lost a team. And the Las Vegas Jacks.
How about the new women's professional baseball league that started over the weekend?
Baseball?
Oh, really?
Yeah, the new women's professional baseball league started over the weekend.
Well, I didn't know that.
L.A. Queen won the first game 10-8 over. They had to come from behind, but they hadn't had it in 70 years. But they started up over the weekend.
That's fantastic stuff, Joe. Hey, great show. Short, thank you. DL, Dr. Brown, Pastor Brickey. Love you guys. Make it a great week.
Look, could you send some money down for Reverend Brinkley to get a new cowboy shirt? I mean, it's a good thing you can't sing.
This is out here on the back.
Yeah, you guys have a great one.